Well, hello, everybody. One of the important topics in Re-Enlightening, in fact, it's one of the first things I say, is that we need to ditch the old analysis that we have of how to look at politics or politically economics, which is that there's a left and a right. Well, yeah, this is something that, well, I want to discuss because it points to one of the 20 books that I quote in Re-Enlightening, and it's a very important work. Now, this is the book by Hiram and Verlin Lewis, The Myth of Left and Right. I can recommend this book. It's a bit longer than it needs to be, honestly. It's kind of a short essay that's been put into book form, but it has many pages of notes and many pages of references if you really want to get into it in great detail. But the important aspect that they're talking about is basically that there is this this idea that there's an essential left and an essential right, that people who are more risk taking tend to be progressive, left wing, whatever, and people who are more risk adverse are conservative. You hear this all the time. And there's a whole package of ideology, some of which are social, traditional models, and of course the economics that come along with it. Now, the way that they discuss this is basically that that package of ideas and assigning it to a psychology or a tendency is just simply plain wrong. And one of the things I'll get it out of Re-Enlightening, it's easier to find, is even as essentialism does considerable intellectual damage, it does moral damage as well. Ideological thinking generates unnecessary prejudice and hostility. It makes us dislike each other and mistreat each other. It causes mutual distrust and diffidence. Ultimately, essentialism makes us stupid as well as evil. That's pretty harsh. But that's one of the things I wanted to quote in Re-Enlightening. Now, what exactly are we meaning with all that? Well, see, that's the thing. Again, this can be a little bit long, but I recommend reading it because the concept is correct. And it posed a bit of a challenge to me because I understood this. I've been arguing this for many, many years, that left and right as we understood them don't make any sense. So what does? It was contemplating that led me to, well, the big wedge of Swiss cheese that's included here in Re-Enlightening. Describe the actual universe of the choices which we have. If there is no simple left and right, where does left and right come from, as I've discussed earlier? And more importantly, what is there to replace it? It's not one-dimensional, but multi-dimensional. It is bounded. There are only so many choices we can make, at least in economic terms, but what are those choices? How can we describe them? And so that's one of the things I wanted to talk about, is point out the myth of left and right. It's an important work. If you understand this, it begs a lot of questions. What other ways do we have to describe it, etc.? And that leads you to Re-Enlightening and the application of what I describe in Re-Enlightening as a new system, a way of looking at things that actually make sense and describes difficult concepts. I'll see everybody.